They are in Western North Carolina, Brevard. So I got on the road this morning ridiculously early because I had a late evening. I had to wrap up some things at the farm. I had to wrap up some things with my job. So I want to talk to you and share some tips about maintaining full-time employment while building a farm. And there's some interesting statistics out there about how many farmers actually hold a second job, maintain full-time employment but for a lot of them, the situation is they do that because their farm, they can't make ends meet with their farm. For me, it's about being able to invest as much as possible into my farm, both from my efforts, from the money I make, and also in not requiring my farm to take care of me and sustain me, especially at my current level, while it's a babe and trying to grow. I want it to be able to grow without that burden. So, farming because I love it, right? But always having to work a second job because I can't make my farm profitable, that never appealed to me. And, our farm is profitable right now. We do have, last year was our first 6-figure year, but, that went back into building. And someone may look at our farm and be like, well, you don't have a lot of buildings. They don't know how much money I got underground, or, how much I've invested in education and staffing and team members and stuff like that. And we're environmentally forward and thinking and want to be good stewards of the land. So some of the things that we implement or are planning to implement are coming from that standpoint, are coming from the standpoint of, what is best environmentally. And, capitalism is real. They have made being green very expensive. It takes green to be green oftentimes, which is ridiculous and backwards AF. But I have very, very long days, and that's something to think about if you're going to maintain employment while building your farming business. Now, I work remotely, so I do have a lot of flexibility with my schedule. It's still a very demanding job, and it does require me to put in the time and the work. But I know the light's wonky, y'all. Like I said, I'm in the mountains. The sun is hidden. So I do have a job that allows me flexibility somewhat. I can work nights, I can work early mornings, that kind of thing. But I have very, very long days. And so if you have a more regimented day job, like you got to go in the office from 9 to 5, or, that kind of thing. You have a supervisor who's constantly looking at what you're doing and how you're doing it, etc. One, that has to be annoying. Two, you may be more limited in the time you have to devote to actual farming. So that's something you want to think about. Are you going to get up early mornings? Which farming, you're going to get up early mornings, especially starting out. And yeah, it requires early mornings, and it's going to require some evenings, and that means long days, especially if early mornings and evenings are all, that's the time you have to devote to it, and maybe like weekends if you don't work on weekends. So those are some things to think about, maintaining your full think about, how much vacation time, how much leave do you have? Because there are going to be certain times like harvest that you're going to need to be, even if you have a very small grow, you're going to need to be present during harvest, because there's always extra steps to it. It's going to take longer than you estimate. That's just how that goes. And when you first start out, you're not going to necessarily have the equipment and the labor that you're going to eventually have as your business grows. So you want to think about how much lead time you have and ensuring that you use it strategically. You want to think about your employer's policy about outside employment, because they may see you building your own business as competition for your time and talent. They do see it as that. And an employer knows that when you're building a business, that your ultimate goal is going to be to leave at some point. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about a side hustle, right? I'm talking about you have the intention of creating a farming business that can sustain you financially. So when they see that happening, then they know that, all of your creativity is not going to them. All of your thoughts about improving things is not about improving their organization. And some employers can be threatened by that. If you're in a situation where they view it as competition, that can be an issue. So you need to think about, that culture at your employer, and if that is something that could cause a problem, what kind of disclosure is required. Make sure you know what your boundaries are. Like, don't go trying to pull 90-hour weeks, which I don't recommend 90-hour weeks, although I can't promise you a 90-hour week is not gonna happen. Very, very rare. Probably the highest I've done is I've had an 84-hour week, and that just isn't sustainable, and it's not good. So I try not to do that, but I also am committed to making this, this business continue to grow on its upward trajectory of success. So I do for now have really, really busy weeks, but I know my boundaries, and I will take a break, and that's important. It's really important to do that and to try not to overcommit yourself. That's something I'm still working on. I do overcommit myself often, double book, triple book myself. I've underestimated how much time something was going to take on the farm, like a harvest, for example, and made commitments that I had to break because I couldn't leave. So, those are just real considerations. And I know I'm not looking at the camera, y'all. Like I said, I'm driving, and is it legal to video while driving? I don't even know if it is. I be seeing folks doing it, but I don't know if it's legal. I need to look that up. I know you can't text and stuff, but you still kind of like focused on something else. But what else? Look at how you're using the money you currently have coming in, and if there are ways you can do better. Still having a quality of life that sparks joy, but also keeping in mind that you're building a business. So, think about that, because the more you can optimize those resources and invest them strategically in your business, the further along your business can go, and the quicker it can scale, because it takes money to start a business. And for me, like I'm reasonable comfortable about the fact that my business is still a baby. And just as you wouldn't expect a newborn baby to take care of its parents upon birth, I don't expect my business to be able to sustain me immediately. I think the last tip I'll just say is don't take on more debt than you can absorb reasonably. Like, don't put yourself in a position where you're literally paycheck to paycheck. And there are going to be some times with the best of planning that things are going to get lean. But you want to make sure that you're never in a position where you're jeopardizing, current assets, or putting yourself in a position where you're drinking, chicken broth for dinner because you can't afford no meat. Or vegetable broth if you're vegan and you can't afford no veggies to crunch on. Like, you don't want to put yourself in that position. So it's good to sit down with a financial planner. I know I've said this in previous videos. A financial planner or some other financial expert, invest that in yourself, in your business, so that you know how much you have to, reasonably put into the growth of your business, like on a monthly basis. You want to know that, what resources and assets you have available to you. No, don't go into it with the mindset, I'm starting from zero, I don't have anything. If you got $50 that you can put towards it every month, that's something. Go ahead and, while you're planning and while you're getting all the other stuff done, open that account and start putting something in it and getting the foundation laid, brick by brick, So, anywho, that's what I have, y'all. That's what I have, and the traffic is picking up. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. I hope this is helpful to somebody somewhere out there. I know it's not, fancy production. I don't have a backdrop and all of that. But this content, what I said, is it's real shit. It's real stuff. And I hope it's valuable and helpful to someone. So thank you so much for watching. If you feel so inclined, please do like, subscribe, share, and make sure